And I've got my mouth video off until I
Oh, but I
Janine's
might want
got
to
a video
see
off.
you.
Oh, sorry, and I'm not muted.
Awesome. I love it.
Make sure you mute yourself. I listened to someone have an argument with their husband the other day. I'm like, I don't know whether I'll ever get over that.
Who won?
She did.
Awesome, always. I love it. Awesome, everybody here. Janine, Marty, Diane is here, Kim Cousins is here, and Pip is here as well. It's awesome to see some of the guests we've invited who are going to share their awards journey with us actually in the room, which is so good. I love it when that happens. Paul Connolly's here, Dee is here, Verena, Jenny, Raquel is here, Janine is here as well, although we can't see you. Mish is here, Raksha's here, Beck Smith is here. Awesome to see you, Beck. Who else have we got in the room? Oh my goodness, they're all still coming in. Jenny is here. Michelle is here. Goodness me, Miranda's here. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you so much. It is awesome to see you. And I'm going to get the chat box going as well. Just remember, guys, you can ask lots of questions in the chat box, so please go ahead and use it. Janine, your video off while she's finishing her lunch. Good on you, Janine. That sounds like a plan. Eating lunch, Mish. Well, that's the idea of doing these lunchtime webinars, isn't it? When you can multitask.
Yeah, that's not very fair to the person who's not eating real food at the moment.
Yeah, no, just don't look. Thank you for turning your camera off if you're eating. That's awesome.
Yeah, just don't look. Turn the other way. Well, it's fantastic to see you all here today. And when Lauren and I were talking about, okay, how else can we add value to this awards conversation, is we thought, well, you know, not everybody is in a space to work with us just yet, or they may be thinking about it. So we thought it'd be really cool to share with you some of the awards that we've written and the process that we go through to create an award-winning submission. So we've got some amazing people here who've actually won awards. So they didn't just make this shit up in the bath last night, that they've actually been there and done that. So that's a really important element of what we're talking about here. So what we're going to do is, like, this is, you know, not just going to be a talk fest. We're going to talk to each of the people who we've worked with, and then we're quite open for you to ask questions to understand what it is that we do and how we do it and how that applies to you. So I think that I might start with the wonderful Pip Meacham. Where are you, Pip? Come on down. There she is. So we worked with Pip last year. She was off the back of winning, I think, the Osmompreneur Award, of which she just cleaned up there, and she went, I want to go for something international. Now, I may or may not have that right, Pip.
Right.
It's been a long year. So one of the first things that we get people to do is to sit down and basically brain dump what it is that they've accomplished over the past 12 months or the past 24 months. That's really important. And if you've ever worked with us, that we should have sent you a link to our achievements form. And if you are working with me right now and I haven't done that, then you can slap me because I've let down the process. But with Pip, I'm going to share my screen because Pip entered the Stevie Women in Business Awards in 2020. You can all see that there. The really cool thing about the Stevie Awards is they actually showcase the winners on their website through blogs, through their newsletters, through their social media. So you really get that leverage, that beautiful PR leverage. But they also put the winning submission up on their website, so anybody can go and have a look at it. So, you know, if you are going to enter that award, just bear that in mind, that people will be scrutinising what you've done. So, Pip, tell us a little bit about what it is that you wanted to accomplish with entering an international award.
Yeah, so for me, it was more around, I guess, really proving to myself that I could do it as well, which is a bit of a big-headed thing, really. It was quite a personal reason. But it was also just to show customers and things that what we were doing was being recognised as well. So obviously, I'm very passionate around what I do in the systems space. So to be able to show people that we were being rewarded for the work that we were doing, that was pretty cool and pretty important to me as well.
It was really cool. So when you sat down with me, well, you might have been standing up. I know I was sitting down. But when we did that process, what was your expectations of what you might need to give in terms of information?
Yeah, honestly, I was just ready to kind of, I mean, you said it before, we sit and brain dump. I was ready just to kind of lay it all on you and for you to confirm that either, yes, we did have something special that we could actually go for these awards as well. So it was almost having someone to talk to just to make sure that what I thought and what I believed was validated by somebody else too. So to just be able to throw everything out there and then have you pull it apart to work out what was needed for the entry too. That was a great bit for me, was just being able to word vomit what was in my head.
And it's a really valuable process. So whether you're writing an award with, you know, people like Lauren and I, or you're doing it yourself, it's a really essential part of the process to be able to just dump down on a piece of paper or whatever format that you use to collect your thoughts and ideas. It might be Google Docs, it might be Remarkable, it might be, I don't know, I was using my window the other day with a whiteboard marker just to brain dump everything I needed to get out of my head. And that's the process that we did with Pip. So we really just, getting a kiss goodbye, we really just did that with her and went, okay, so we think for this particular award, which was Company of the Year, like that's massive. Congratulations, Pip, because Pip won the Gold Stevie Women in Business Award for this entry.
I'm still smiling.
I know, and I still smile when I think about it as well, because like this is a global award. There were women from across the world in her category, business products, 10 employees or less, who submitted an entry for this, went up against a panel of judges against the criteria for this particular award, was answering the question. So the first question was to basically list what your achievements are, and taking Pip through that was really easy. So we broke it down into categories so the judges could really clearly see. So you can see on the screen, how clear is that in terms of what Pip has accomplished in 12 months? So there is absolutely no doubting that, you know, she has grown her business internationally, that she's upskilled herself, that she's also given back to her community, that all of these things have contributed to a financially sound and profitable business, that she's grown, that, you know, instead of going from I'm working with this type of customer, she's built it to working with some, you know, larger type organizations, and that there's some proof of what her success is from her client's perspective. And then what we did is we told a story about Pip, is that we shared what this business meant for her, how she started in this space, because the question in the Stevie Women in Business Awards, in all the Stevie Awards and pretty much almost any award that I've ever written, is where did you come from? How did this start? Tell us a little bit about what your business is and who it is that you're serving. So again, we clearly showed that in here is where Pip came from. What was the pain point for her to start this business, not just for herself, but for her clients? Because, you know, at the end of the day, an award is not about you, really. It's like Pip said, it's about your customers. And then we again broke down those main points that we've got here into a little bit more detailed. So we quantified our response. And what I'm going to do is you can actually, I'll put the link for this in the chat. You can go and read Pip's entry that we put in for her, that one.
What I really like as well, Annette, something that I've put it in the chat. Did everybody notice that entry actually had a headline? The headline that the fabulous journalist that Annette is, of course, systems geek turning tide for business. It reads like a newspaper headline. So really think about how you position yourself and how you tell that story. This is what I love so much about Pip's entry, Annette, is the fact that she's a self-confessed systems geek. But what she's doing to use that innate skill and talent to help other people is amazing. So you've got to think about that too, haven't you, Annette? How you position yourself with your...
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, if you go look through the Stevies and, you know, look at some of the finalists, that it just says person's name, business name. But I found that we stand out. Look, and we don't always win every category. We do pretty well. I think we're on a 95% success rate at the moment, is that we find a way to grab the judge's attention straight up, that they're excited to read the submission. And both Lauren and I have been judges many, many times, and we've looked at entries, and like I'll often message Lauren, and when I think I just fell asleep multiple times through that process, because it was all so boring and academic and just bland, is that you really do want to infuse a bit of personality, your personality, into that, because while winning the award or making the finals is for your clients and customers, the submission is also for the judges. So, you know, something like the Stevies, like I could be judging 300 entries over the course of 2 or 3 months. And whilst there is criteria that you're checking off against to be objective, let's face it, we are human, and there's still a subjectiveness that comes into that process. So you also want to leverage off that, understanding that the judge is a human being who's probably looked at hundreds of entries, is bored shitless, and just wants someone to come out and go, boom. Because sometimes it's not always about the most profitable business or the biggest client growth. It's about someone who has a vision of where they're going, who they're helping, and how they're helping that person. So I've put the link to Pip's entry in there so that you can go through and have a look. You know, forgive the formatting, it's formatted really weird on their website, but you can see how we've come in and said, this is how we're justifying and substantiating Pip's entry. So I like that. I'm going to get Lauren to show you Pip Support Doc, because one of the things that almost every single award that I've entered on for myself, for Lauren and I, or for our clients, says supporting documentation optional. And we don't believe it's optional at all. And we think that quite often it's our support documentation that gets us over the line in a lot of awards, because it stands out. So I'm going to hand over to Lauren. You're on mute.
There we go. This is a support document, so it's just gone really big now all of a sudden. I'll get this back to a size that you can all see it. My computer's deciding to do all sorts of things. Right, so the number one thing you need to think about with your documentation that you provide, and I don't know whether you noticed on the screen that, and it was showing you one document. You don't want to give people a great long list of URLs to go to and so on, because as Annette said, sometimes as a judge, you're looking at 300 entries. You don't have time to go traipsing around the internet and find out about people. And worse, you don't want to send someone to a broken link or a page that you didn't realize was there, but had some information on there you didn't want them to see. So you're far better off to give them one document. Just a PDF is what we provide. We make sure it's small enough that any computer can open it. So you can zip it down. There's PDF packers and all sorts of free things. If you don't know what they are, ask Pip. She's the systems geek. But Pip, this was your brand colors. And I mean, it was very easy for me to go, you've got a great brand, and find, again, the support information we get from you, the achievements form asks for your logo and images and so on. But we used the colors. We got as close as we could with the typefaces. We used the fonts. So you want to present your brand in a really good way when this is sent out and done as a support document. So Pip, when you first saw your support doc that came back, what was your initial reaction to that?
I was blown away. It's so cool. I love seeing stuff like all in the company colors, and to have it matched actually so close to our branding and the way that I present things in general, even on social media and just in the work that we do, to have it see it align so closely to that was really, really cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, and again, you can, if you are doing your own submission document as a brand manager, I go and do this. I go and find it from your website. I look at, as Pip was saying, what sort of style? Do you use curves? Do you use blocks? Do you use color? I look at the way that you do things, and I tend to mimic that in the document that's going out there. Having great photographs. Now, I know we've got Marty on the call here as well, who talks about speaking and so on. If you are a professional in business, Getting your photographs done and getting them done regularly. You should be doing that it should just be in your calendar, in your budget. Go and get great photographs of you, your team, but more importantly, you interacting with other people, whether you're a speaker or an author or a coach or whatever you're doing, whether you're a plumber, getting some really, really good images of you on site, really showing some of your brand and your personality is really important. And the judges want to know, as Annette said, they want to read the story, they want to know you as a human, and you need to make sure that you're putting that in all your documentation. And including things like your other awards. It doesn't mean that just because you won an award, and I wouldn't include, what was it? Was it the Top Dog Award that you won, Annette, back in 1970 when you were 10?
The Top Dog Award for Achievement in 1977. I'm still very proud
of it, absolutely.
Yes.
You might mention it, but you might not necessarily include it in your support document. But you certainly want to have, look, if you've won recent awards or you've got accolades or you've got certifications, you'd want to put those in there. So just making it really stand out, using screen grabs of your website, talking about your approach. One of the things that we love about the support documents that we put together, and we really are painting a picture for our judges. If you haven't achieved a lot, if you're new in business and you're not sure what, and you're going, oh, I don't have a lot, talk about the problem. You can put in a whole page of documentation in there around your approach to helping solve a problem, about how you're innovating and how you're starting out and doing these things. Obviously listing events and a bit of a timeline for judges so that they can see evidence. If you've said in your entry that Pip gets asked to speak at events, then list the events you spoke at. If you're in the media, if you're interviewed on podcasts, which Pip has obviously in here, grab those things from social media and put them into your support document. Make it interesting, make it like a magazine that the judge wants to go and have a look at. Don't make them go and have a look at your Facebook page. Put it all together so that they can easily see what's going on. Media clippings. In Canva, if you use Canva like I do, you can actually create this and put a link to it in here. You can just click on the button up here and go, right, put a link into that article and send them off so they can go and if they want to, they can read about it. You can put little links to videos in here. So you can link into your YouTube channel. And testimonials. Pip has got so many of these. Testimonials and case studies are really vital in terms of showing the judges that you are delivering. You're not just talking about it, you're actually doing it. And then at the end, give them these links again. Allow them, if they want to find out more, they can go and check you out and make sure that they can find you on there. So Pip, any other thoughts about your support document and what you thought really stood out in this to you when you were putting yourself forward and you didn't know at this time that this was going to win you a gold international award? How did it make you feel to have something like that document, and have you used it for any other purposes?
Yeah, just really cool. It's not like when people talk about support documentation, you always think of really boring PDFs, just a lot of text and not really any color. And like you said, that's like a magazine. I love looking through that because it's just so cool and it fits in really well with the way that I like to do things here. You know me, I don't like to be boring. I like to be different. I like to push boundaries on things as well. So to see that, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did a little happy dance when you first sent that through.
I'm like, oh my God, my dyslexia, there'll be so many spelling errors in there, but that's okay because you've got to start from somewhere. And as Annette said, right at the start, brain dump, put all of that information together. It's really interesting when I come across somebody who's given us very little information and I have to go looking for stuff online. I always worry that I'm sending them a document and going, God, I hope they like this, because I've basically made it up because you've given me very little to go on. So the more that you can give us, the better it is and the easier it is for us to know your brand, your logo, your colors and everything else. But if you can learn from that, the steps are go with your brand, make sure it looks like your brand, tell a story, make it like a magazine, include lists and dot points and screen grabs and so on, and break it out into different segments so it reads like a magazine and makes it easy for the judges.
You asked me how I've used it since.
Yeah.
This one's probably a bit left of center, but if I'm having a bad day, I read back through it because it just reminds me what I've done. It reminds me kind of why I'm doing this and why I keep doing it. So it's saved as a file on my desktop and I open it up every now and again.
Oh, I love that, Pip. That is so cool. And we need that. We've got to be our own best cheer squad in business. No one else is going to do it and pat you on the back. So that's so cool. I love it. Thank you so much, Pip. That was brilliant. Now, Diane has asked, how do you find a good photographer for those specific photos? Two answers for you, Diane. You ask for referrals from people who've got great, so go and find someone who's got great photos and ask them, who did you use for a start? Secondly, any photographer is only a good photographer if they know what they're doing. So you need to give them a shot list. You need to work out what sort of shots you know. So I'm doing a photo shoot this Friday, and look what I have. A mock-up of my new book that's not written yet. I've just stuck the cover onto somebody else's book, ready for the photo shoot. I've also got other props. I know what shapes and sizes I want my photos to be. I've written out a shot list and I've given it to the photographer. I've thought about where I'm going to stand, what my background's going to be, how those images are going to be used. So Diane, the answer to your question is go and find someone who's got great headshots and ask them who they used, and then make sure you have plenty of preparation and a list for your photographer, because that's how you get the best out of them. Yes, Janine, absolutely. Ask for referrals and people that you like the photo of. Absolutely. And thank you, Diane. The support document does look amazing. And it won a gold. So yeah, go and absolutely do that. And I love Pip's comment, using it to bolster yourself, but you can certainly use it for all sorts of purposes. It really is a business planning tool for you. So keep using those, which is cool. Back to Annette and our next special guest.
Oh, I love this. You know, I'm going to, so there's no particular order in which I'm calling people, but I'm going to call on Rhonda Havelry, because I know that she is babysitting a toddler today. So she may have to go at any moment. So, hey, Rhonda, how are you? She's in lockdown in Sydney, but locked down, but not locked out. Totally switched on. So I met Rhonda in 2017 at a networking meeting, and she came over, told me about what she does. Her business is called Autism Mates. It's a not-for-profit social enterprise, and she really wanted to build credibility for what she's doing. So she committed to coming to New York with us in 2017 to the Stevie Awards. And I just want to share, so I've got two that I want to show of Rhonda's submissions, because, 2017 is, 4 years ago. Gee, my maths is awesome. 4 years ago. And what we've been able to do with Rhonda over the years is build on that initial award submission that we did in 2017. So we've been able to grow and change with Rhonda as well. So every time she goes, I want to enter this award, and I go, okay, I look at the questions and think, we've got most of the answers. We just need to tweak them a little bit. So in 2017, Rhonda and I sat down and had a conversation about what it is that she does. I'm just bringing that up on the screen. So you'll see that this particular submission, we've told from a totally different point of view, whereas Pip's was very much business because it was company of the year. This one for Rhonda was best new product or service, wasn't it, Rhonda?
It was silver for best new product or service and gold for women helping women.
Women helping women, that's right. So, and we used the same submission. We tweaked it slightly for those two categories, but it was the women helping women that we really focused on, because, Rhonda works with, a lot of parents who've got children on the spectrum who are neurodiverse. So we really wanted to be able to appeal to them and give her work real credibility. So I wanted to convey to the judges just how powerful Rhonda and Richard's story is, and that they could see the impact that she wanted to have on the world, that she was already having on the world. So you can't actually go and see this one online at the Stevies, because they only put the previous years on there. But we got into real storytelling mode, and you can see how we opened it, with some real stylistic, putting one in caps, so that they went, oh, okay, we're ready for this. I wanted the judges to do that. This is the story of one woman and her passion and drive to empower people with autism. It was such a strong opening statement, and it was a real key message of Rhonda's that she wanted to get across. Then we gave a bit of background. So a lot of these awards, as I've said, they want to know where you've been and what you've done, because it gives context to where you are now and where you were going. So, you know, we told the story about what happened to Richard as a kid within the school system and why Rhonda's mission is so important and so poignant. So then we went, okay, here's the backstory. And then we started talking about, here are the things that she's done. She's created this not-for-profit, and these are the ways that she connects with people. And here's her signature products. So Model Mates, which is an incredible fashion show initiative, which sadly COVID has put the kibosh on. And then this really cool puppet show that she's created was called Tommy the Turtle. It's now called Timmy the Turtle, and is now an animation. So if you know anybody in the school system who would like to experience this incredible story narrated by Richard and Danny the Duck, Queen Densham, it is absolutely incredible. So do you have Rhonda's? So I want to ask Rhonda for you. So Rhonda, you started this, I would imagine, not with the intent of being the face of Autism Mates, you know, because you're going, this is about the message. But what we've learned along the journey is that we do have to give the story a face. And yours is such a beautiful one. We should just put it out there. So through this process of writing the award, what was it that really struck you as significant about the process?
Well, I fell into this advocacy role or path or journey because I saw a need. So it's really interesting. It's sort of evolved and it's become, you know, much bigger than I imagined. I thought we would just educate school kids and teachers, but you know, where we are today is just so different to where we started. And now I'm actually changing the face of Autism Mates from me to Richard. So he's the face of Autism Mates on TikTok. I don't think even once. And we're you know, transitioning slowly to moving that. But the fact that you encouraged me to put a face out there and to enter awards really made our message clearer and made our message more marketable. So as you say, you know, people respond to people. So getting those accolades, although it wasn't about getting the accolades, the accolades help to give, you know, third-party credibility to the message. So it's not just you saying, look at me, look at me. It's someone else saying, wow, look at this. So that's, I think that's been the most valuable part of the journey of some sort of award process. And hopefully, you know, we can successfully transition from my face to Richard's face, and that's already happening. So, you know, I'm really grateful for the advice, the direction, the awards that you have brought to the Autism Mates journey, because it's really helped us get our message across to so many more people, not just, and this is what and you helped with the speech writing aspect of our acceptance speech. It wasn't just about the autistic community listening to our message. It was, we moved our message to the mainstream world. So that was crucial in our growth and in our success. So we went from just the autism world to the mainstream stage, and that was quite powerful.
Thank you. And what we did is because Rhonda is a sucker for punishment, she keeps coming back to spend more time with me, is that we've just created almost what's like an awards black box. And every time we write something or we submit an award for Rhonda, is that we've got this collection of responses. So I think it was last year, Rhonda said to me, I really want to enter the Hester Awards. And I'm really busy. I don't have time. There's all this stuff going on. And I went, that's okay. I've probably got enough that I can just replicate. So this award, which won the Hester Awards last year.
Can you zoom in on it a little bit, Annette? It's a bit small on the screen.
Oh, come on, people.
My eyesight's
Oh,
good.
that's
Not
because
perfect.
it's on 75%. No wonder I can't see it either. Is that better? Is that better? Good, excellent. So we just went into this black box and we took those responses so that we could answer those questions. And it's such a really cool way to leverage your time and your message if you've got a plan for 12 months. So, you know, sometimes things pop up and you go, oh my God, this awards. Rhonda contacted me a couple of weeks ago and went, oh, I've just been nominated for this, never heard of it, and went and checked it out and went, okay, we'll see where we can fit this in. So going through this, we were just able to pull those responses. This was actually quite a big award. It was like 2,000 words. But you can see how much easier it makes if you spend the time and you plan that time. Now, Lauren, do you have Rhonda's support document there?
I don't. I think this was 3 days when you and I were working together on awards and we were separately doing things and hadn't
All
quite
right.
got together. So if you've got it somewhere, that's awesome. But what
Here's-
I love about
Here's one I prepared earlier.
what I love about what Rhonda said and what you showed us before, though, and I'm sure Rhonda loves this as well, is that isn't that awesome to see the things you were talking about way back then that were your aims and goals and what you wanted to, and moving Richard into the spotlight and so on. That's all now happened. So your actual awards entry, Rhonda, has become a business plan. And that's exactly what Annette and I hope that people will achieve, that they're putting something on paper that actually they can use as a foundation for where they want to go. So I'm so impressed, Rhonda. Congratulations. That's brilliant.
So this
Well,
is...
your help, Lauren and Annette. And apart from the accolades, I had a ball in New York. Can I just say that? And I can't wait for the next Stevie Awards. I just want an excuse to go back with you guys. It was just so much fun. I can't tell you. One of my life's highlights.
where we certainly know how to have fun. So this is like one of the very first iterations of the support document that we've now gone on to perfect, and Lauren does this aspect of it because her background is in design and graphic design. Mine's just like, oh yeah, that looks all right. So, but still it won a gold Stevie. So again, it was the same. It was really about, you know, this is like in your face, is talking about the why, because this was a category, women helping women. So whenever we do put a submission in, it's carefully reading the questions. And I know, you know, there's someone in this on this webinar now that we're writing an award for at the moment, and we actually went back and said, I don't think we've quite nailed it yet. I don't think that we've really answered the question. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because when you're telling your story to someone else, like, you know, all of this stuff, it's in your head. You live and breathe it. You know, it's part of your DNA. It's what you do. But when someone comes in from the outside, they have to interpret what you're saying and capture your story so that it sounds like you, it feels like you. So when you read it, like Rhonda did, I know when she read her entry in 2017, she made me cry with her response, because I went, I nailed it. I did it. This has made her feel something emotionally, and it's her story. So this was like very much taking in Rhonda's colours and talking about why it was important that she was doing. So we just used lots of pictures and lots of colours to get that across. You're talking about the programs that she ran, you know, and the pictures, because the pictures really do speak 1,000 words. But case studies are really important, reviews and testimonials, because then it's not all you saying what it is, it's other people's. We went into detail with the different keynotes that she has, you know, the different, oh, come on, mouse, the different programs. So we've just improved on that over time. You know, her books, her future, where she's going, her goals, the impact that she's made in terms of, you know, being in the media and stories, getting that out. That's a fancy hairdo, Rhonda, that one. You know, showing her in her settings and putting those links in so the judges do not have to go to any effort to go and find out. So that's Rhonda. Rhonda.
Yeah.
So I did post in there a link to a recent story about Richard and his pivot during COVID. If anybody wants to buy some big hundreds of thousands, I have eaten a few. They're really nice. I've sat there and watched him make it. But for you, Rhonda, what was the biggest challenge about that process of telling your story to be able to write the submission?
Well, you made the process quite easy. You asked the right questions, so I knew what to give you. And I don't think that I could have done it because it's really hard to sing your own praises. And I think I had that emotional response because when you put it together, I thought, have I really done this? And you were just working off what I gave you, but there was no way I could have put into some sort of, flow exactly what I did and the impact that I've had. So apart from, creating this submission that I could never have put together, because, we've been trained to be humble, raised to, just keep your head down and to say, this is what I've done for a lot of people is hard. It is for me. So when you present it, you then have a package that you can repurpose and repurpose meaningfully, because you know that somebody else wrote it based on facts that you've given. So I now have no problem repurposing some of the submissions because I know they're factual and I know someone else has written it. It's not me saying, this is what we've done. It's somebody else saying it. So you overcome that humility that you've been trained to sort of to have. And I'm stumbling around because I still find it hard to say, this is what I've done. My focus is on empowering other people. It's not on empowering myself. So that's why that's a shift in mindset. And when you outsource that to someone else, it's so much easier. And whenever I do have something that I'm thinking that maybe, we could apply for that, I just ring Annette and say, I think, this may be a good fit for us. What do you think? And Annette will say, yep, on it. Last year, the Oz Mumpreneur Awards, gold and bronze, and no effort from my part. Annette just said, yep, I've got enough information. I'll submit it. Done, dusted in like a 4-minute conversation. I think we spent more time having a social chat than chatting about the actual award entry. So that's what's great about, having Annette and Lauren look after these things, because I no longer have to keep track. They do that for me, and it's a very quick process. And these awards keep you top of mind. It's not about the award, it's about relevance. It's about even, displaying the awards in, I don't put it in my office, I put it in the lounge room so that when people come and visit, they ask questions. And they're asking the questions, it opens the door for me to respond. I'm redesigning my website, and I'm having all the social media tiles repositioned so they're easily found. It's about people seeing that. It's on my email signatures. It's about that third-party validation, all the time, because there are so many people competing for attention these days. If you can have that third-party validation, it's so important. Again, it's not about the actual award. It's about just keeping your brand top of mind and giving other people the confidence in having trust in your brand.
You rock. I love working with you. Thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate that. I know that you've got a hectic day. Looking after toddlers is, I don't know, you're a brave woman. So just in case you thought that awards were all about the chicks, we're going to bring a bloke up onto the stage who is, did you know he was Australian Comedian of the Year? Did you know that, Marty? So we worked with Marty and Michael from Mainstage last year to write them a Stevie International Business Award. So these guys have got such incredible achievements and accomplishments through the years that they've been working individually in their area of expertise and as a partnership. So we wanted to be able to capture that because they have this new collaboration where they've got this incredible program where they're helping people who are speakers to be able to monetize that and to, you know, get paid for the work that they do. So they have this program. So we went, okay, well, we think that we should, actually it was the Stevies Asia Pacific, wasn't it? Yeah, got to get that right, don't I? There are so many awards. So Marty, come on down. Tell us a little bit about what your thought processes were to step up and enter an award.
Thanks, Annette and Lauren, for inviting me on today. It's funny, you know, because as someone, I was a stand-up comic for 10 years, as Annette said. I won this thing called Australian Comic of the Year, worked in the UK for 8 years, and then I've been a speaker for 12 years on top of that. So to do that, I'm probably not busting any myths, but you must have a little bit of an ego to be able to do that. And yet, when Annette and Lauren said to us, like, you know, we really think you guys should enter in for the Stevie Awards. Like, we think you'd have a really good case. Like the fun thing that Annette, you're talking about imposter syndrome. Like Michael and I were like, really? Hey, what? Like, we've only started, like, you know, this thing's only launched like a year and a half ago. It's like, you know, and it was a really hard-nosed conversation that you had with us, Lauren, that it was just like, and I hope, you know, hopefully they've been hanging around, everyone on this call has been hanging around at Lauren and Annette long enough to not be offended when I report the fact that you said, fuck no, boys, you need to enter these awards. Like, honestly, I think you have a really great case. And we were like, oh, well, you know, what are you going to do? You know, hand over the money, roll the dice. And we won 2 bronze in the Stevie Awards. And we're both just like, oh, so everything. And we can talk about the important business case that it gives validation to our business. We can talk about the ease of which you both made entering our awards. But even if, just as Pip said earlier, the idea that, you know, Michael and I look at each other and just go, we did it. We won 2 awards like this. And it isn't because the only awards that Annette and Lauren are prepared to enter you into are the ones where you can't just hand over 20 grand and get an award. Like, you have to actually win it. You have to actually, there are judges, independent judges who win it. And so it was an incredible validation for us that we were doing something special and actually possibly tipped us over the edge into this idea of, it had just been a loose partnership run through one of our businesses before. But now we've gone to ASIC and created an entity and getting a joint bank account and it's actually a proper business now since we've won these awards. And that has just been a real internal validation, if for nothing else. It's been a marvelous thing for our business.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. It sounds a little bit like Lauren's and my story is, you know, in 2017, we had a lunch and I went, you know what, I'm thinking of doing this trip to New York. You want to come? And we came, and just from, you know, the Audacious Agency grew from that. But Marty, in terms of your award, yours and Michael's, he's not here, but we will talk about him while he's not here, is so this is an award-winning entry for Michael and Marty from their business at the time was called Speaker Business Accelerator. And, you know, so we told the story, but we didn't focus on the fact that, you know, it was a loose collaboration and this is what was happening, is that we really positioned it as this is a real innovation in the speaking space, because what most people focus on is how to be a speaker, how to write a keynote, how to present. And Michael and Marty's is so innovative that they actually help you monetize what it is that you do with a very clear process. So,
and it was actually, sorry to cut you off, Annette, but it was actually you two concentrating on that actually helped us get really clear on our marketing in that as well. In that, because super quickly, like I did my first keynote about 12 years ago, a room full of professional speakers gave me a standing ovation, and I was like, hey, I'm a speaker, woohoo. And then 4 years later, I'd done less than 10 paid gigs and was about 150 grand Aussie in debt, because I didn't understand how the business of speaking works, how the actual, and we've all been in a room where someone's actually not that good on stage, but you've seen them, they're really busy because they understand how the business of speaking works. And that's a real, because most people, all the speaking training you see out there, it's how to present well on stage and everything. And that is part of it. And it was you two both really concentrating and zeroing in on that being the key difference that really solidified that in our marketing, and now that's all we talk about.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome to hear. I didn't know that. That's great. So in terms of the submission that we wrote, is that, in the words of Marty and Michael, is put the process on the pedestal. So that's really what we did, is we heard what they were saying and thought that's a really significant key message that we need to get across to really showcase the difference that this is between what is existing out there and what they're offering in the marketplace. And you will see, so we've set it up with, here's the background of this business, and then gone in. So the Stevies has 4 questions. The first one is share your background. What are your achievements in the last 12 months? What's the significance of those achievements? And what supporting documents are you contributing, and explain how that fits. I haven't answered that one in here, but we've talked about the achievements, and you'll see that I actually put it in first person because I thought for this, it was such a beautiful story of collaboration and vision that I wanted to get across the heart that went into creating this program and putting that across. And because it was an innovation, we needed to break that down into what those areas look like for them. So there was the 3, helping people look at, what the program content is and how they help people, how they help them promote, and then how they help them make money. So you can see where we put their process on the pedestal. And then we talked about the significance of what they're doing. So this was really about their key, their key uniqueness and their position in the market and how they stand out. So I'm going to hand over to Lauren for the support document.
Awesome. What I love so much about this entry, and also listening to what Annette's saying and what Marty said as well, which is so vital. Number one, this is a startup, guys. This is a startup that came from nothing. So that hesitation to enter awards was absolutely there. As Marty said, it really took some talking to for these guys to actually go.
And some swearing at.
Swearing at, yeah, exactly. For them to believe that they had something already, even though they'd just started. Secondly, as Annette said, it's putting the process on the pedestal, which is, we're preaching Marty and Michael straight away, but when you are in a situation where you're new and you're trying something out, and this comes from my experience as well, neurobranding is a relatively new science. There's probably only a handful of people in the world that really understand what neurobranding is about. And when Annette challenged me and said, look, you've worked for award-winning advertising agencies, but you haven't won an award. She said, why haven't you done it? It was because I had that same self-doubt. Well, how do I prove this? I don't have any qualifications. I just know about it. So that's one of the nicest things about this, is that Michael and Marty both brought to the table 2 distinctly different areas of expertise and put it together as a great brand. And secondly, the fact that it, as Marty has said, it's helped them refine their marketing message. And Pip said it and Randa said it. It's such a nice thing that comes out of this. And I think Annette and I probably don't value that as much as we should do, is that entering awards and doing it this way actually really helps you figure out what should you be focusing on when you're telling other people about your business and what you do and why they should care and why they should listen. So again, great photos. I mean, these guys are great at fun photos. Now they're called Main Stage. We've just updated their support document because they've entered the International Business Awards, and we've got our fingers and toes crossed for some more awards coming to these guys. So the first page that you see, and this is what I talked about before, because this was a startup, we didn't have lots of case studies and being in the media and what they'd achieved because it's a brand new formation of a business. Instead, we showed the judges that there's a problem. There's a problem in the marketplace, the business of speaking. And the timing was perfect for this, wasn't it, Marty? Because it was right when COVID hit and a lot of professional speakers saw their businesses disappear overnight.
Yep, absolutely. Like we had one speaker join our program and they said, I normally do about sort of 70 or 80 keynotes per year. And in the last 12 months, I've done 6 and they were all virtual, Yeah. So it was like that line you say there, coronavirus reduced the industry to rubble, literally to rubble.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to point out to the judges, this is the problem. There's lots of people teaching people how to be speakers, but no one teaching them the business of speaking, that monetization factor that Annette was talking about. So we got some stats, we got Marty and Michael to go and do their research and find some numbers for us to give the judges some evidence that this wasn't just something we dreamed up. There actually is a problem out there. And then we told the story. That's why Michael and Marty have got together. They formed this partnership.
But we were very willing, we were very easy to work with all this sort of stuff.
They told you what to do, you were fine. You know us.
We were terrible. We were terrible.
It was like pulling teeth, seriously. No, it was great because we had, as Annette said, there's real heart behind this brand. And as you've seen from Pip and from Rhonda, there's that part of that. And we only work with great brands because we love the fact that you are influencing such a big audience and you are really helping people. A little bit about the 2 people that have been involved in the business. Now we've got the other awards on here, look. So again, a quick message for you as you are looking at entering more awards and repurposing, as Rhonda was saying, grab your awards and update your documentation. Keep updating it and adding testimonials and so on. We talk about the innovation. We talk about the approach. What is unique about this business? What is different about them? Then we've got some great, fabulous photos again. This is giving you a real insight into what their program is all about and how involved it is and how people love being part of the Main Stage Academy and what these guys are doing, the different levels that they have, and then some points of difference. And then some success. Now, this was really interesting. When you are starting up in business, one of the first things that people want, and it's really hard because this is chicken versus the egg situation, guys. You have to somehow or other tell people that you have success even before you've got success. So this was a real challenge for these guys. And I said to them, okay, great. I want to put something, how many gigs have the people got that you've been training? What sort of monetary income have they been earning? And it was like, oh God, we're going to have to go do some case studies. So again, going back and asking your clients, make sure that you are getting those recommendations and referrals coming through to you and writing some case studies. If you can create a Google form that asks these standard questions. What was life like before you worked with me? What was the number one thing you got out of working with me? If someone asked you about working with us, what would you tell them? How has your life changed since you did our program? Put together a little Google form or a questionnaire or a survey monkey. Don't really care what platform you use, but you should be asking your clients this information. If you're a coach or a mentor or an accountant or a personal trainer or any shape and form of business, you should be asking your clients to give you feedback. Now, this document has grown. There are so many case studies now from what this particular, it absolutely works, what Main Stage are doing. And there's evidence and proof here. Look at all these case studies. It's like case study, case study, case study. And of course, the links at the end. So a beautiful document, loads and loads of evidence that what they're doing works, and you just keep adding to it, which is brilliant. So some really good tips in there on how a great product can come together in terms of a support document, and you keep adding to it. It's a living document, so keep using it. So Marty, when we sent you that, we sent you the document and we sent you your entry, what was your reaction to that?
Oh, it was like people have already said, it was such an affirmation of, we really are onto something special here. And as so for those watching the replay of this, Michael is an agent, so he owns a speaker bureau, and I'm a speaker. So our throwaway pitch line is you learn from both sides of the stage. But really seeing how you guys brought that together with the case studies and everything, and it forced us to do something and think in a way that we would never done of our own accord because you're just too busy. And the process of that has been validating for us externally and incredibly validating for us internally. And as Pip mentioned, that we're getting our website redone now, and all those case studies have become quotes on the new website and all that sort of thing. So it's not, as you say, it's not something that you just do once and then park it. Like, this becomes a living record of your business as it grows. It's such a valuable exercise.
Brilliant. I love that you're integrating everything, and it's a good point, actually, that it's not a standalone thing. Awards aren't this thing over here in the corner. They're a big part of what you do in your business. So thank you so much, Marty. That was awesome.
Pleasure.
All right, I've got so many screens open. It's like, where am I? So the next fabulous person that we're going to shine the light on is the amazing Kim Cousins, who's now currently a finalist for the Sunshine Coast Women in Business Awards. Am I correct?
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we didn't first meet Kim last year, but she approached us to do a Stevie Award for her in 2020. And I'm very pleased to share that she won a silver. I'm just going to bring that up on the screen. A silver in, I had it on the screen and now it's gone. Oh dear, Kim, I don't know where it went, but anyway, it's there. But anyway, here I've cut and pasted.
That's right. Yeah.
Mentor or Coach of the Year in Business, and Kim, under her business at the time, Sprout Enablement, won a Silver Stevie Award, which was just mind-blowing. So again, for Kim,
and gold.
Oh, and gold. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gold. I went to pull them all up. See, this is like my octopus arms are not working today. I'm glad you're there sticking up for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I've got it there in the background up on my shelf.
Oh, yeah. So what was the gold for again?
Startup of the Year.
Startup of the Year. And that is, you need to put your hands together for Kim for that, because the Startup of the Year is a free category in the Stevies. So you can imagine how many people entered the free category.
Yeah.
To win gold in that, Kim, when sharing her story, sharing her achievements, we just together really nailed that to showcase to the judges that her growth, her proposition for the marketplace, and her successes were really making a significant difference. So we told Kim's story from a third person point of view because we thought from a mentor or coach perspective, it might have sounded a little bit wanky to talk about I. That's a technical term in the awards writing business, just saying. So again, when we sat down with Kim, it's like, tell us your story. Where have you been? What have you done? What's the history of your business, so that we can start building for the judges your credentials, so they can see what you're good at, what you're amazing at, and how this has been able to feed and grow what it is that you've got as a startup business, but also how you're helping with people that you're mentoring or coaching. So we told Kim's story. We had 250 words to do that in. So you've got to get to the point. And this is where really reading those questions and constantly going back and checking in with the question. Every time I write something, it's like I read it, go back to the question. Am I answering this? Am I giving the judges what they want? Or am I waffling? Or have I totally got sidetracked? So that word count's really important. Or if in this case of the Stevies, and a lot of awards are doing it now, submitting a video, write it down first, stick to the word limit or the time limit, because awards are not just about what you write, it's also about following the rules. So if you don't follow the rules, the judges will go, this person obviously has no respect for the process, then I'm going to mark them down a couple of points. And you could be the best business in the entire world. Remember, subjectivity, objectivity is the judges are going to say, you don't care about this process. So we're very careful. Luckily with the Stevies, you can't submit if you're over the word limit. So that's really cool. So we explored what it is that Kim does. So, and then we similar to Pip's, is we broke her achievements down into chunks so that the judges could very quickly see what it is that Kim had accomplished through her work since starting up her business in 2019. And I would imagine now that she's made the finals of the Sunshine Coast Women in Business, that she's just gone next level. Would that be true, Kim? I can imagine.
Sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, and this is, I think we repurposed this for you for the International Business Awards. So,
Yes.
which makes it really easy. I just went, okay, well, tell me what you've done since 2020. And then what's the significance of what you've done? So I asked Kim about, who have you worked with? Tell me about what they've achieved because of the work that you've done with them, so I can share their story and really showcase what it is that you've done. So regardless of what award that you're entering, judges are looking for that tangible proof, and case studies are a really good way to do that.
Yeah.
This is why they came to me. This is what I did for them. This is the outcome. So I'm going to hand that over. I'm going to go find Kim's gold entry and put it in the chat. But Lauren's going to cover your support document.
Absolutely. I'm also nibbling on a muesli bar while I'm sitting here, so that's why I am trying not to cough. Kim, it was such a pleasure putting your document together because there is so much of your information available. Now, this is obvious because Kim is a sales expert. So she's already positioning herself so well online. She's Googleicious. So it was easy to go to her LinkedIn profile. And there's a big tip for you guys, is go and review your LinkedIn profile. Because if you've got a great LinkedIn profile that tells your story, does all those things that Annette was talking about, paints a picture, has a list of all your qualifications, who you work with and so on, that makes it so easy to get to know you. And I basically used a lot of what was online for what Kim, and of course what Kim sent me. But again, beautiful photographs at the time, and it may have changed, Kim, we might need to update these things. We worked on a format that had a feeling of your brand. You've got that beautiful logo in there, you know, so using the colors, making people feel like obviously straight away you're talking about a real person. Cover is really important on your document. Making it easy to read, laying it out, telling the story, even little quotes. If you've got, and I know Marty and Michael call them zingers, which is so cool. If you've got little quotes that you use all the time, or phrases or statements that you use, put them in there and highlight them. Because those are the things that stand out to the judges. You've obviously taken some effort to put this document together. Then again, about the approach, what is it different? Kim, how many other sales training, sales mentors, sales specialists are there out there?
Gazillions.
Gazillions, and that's a big number, right? So you've got to talk about how you stand out in your industry. And remember, Kim was going for startup, which is, Annette said, highly contested category. It's free to enter and there are loads and loads of competition in there. And she's going for her particular niche for mentoring and coaching. And if there's a gazillion sales coaches, there are a Brazilian coaches in general, right? So it's like just exponential. So you've got to talk about what makes you different and dot pointing it. Your approach, as we talked about with Marty and Michael, what is it about your approach or your process or the way that you do things that's different? And highlighting your achievements. If you've got graphs, guys, and this is a really cool thing, you can go into the back end of Google, you can go into the back end of any CRM system that you have. If you don't know what CRM systems are, talk to Pip. You can go into the back of Facebook or Instagram. You can find graphs. If you have a Facebook group, and you are adding people to it. Paul Connolly, I know you're getting out there and you're doing that and you're attracting people to your brand. Go and have a look. If you've got a graph that shows that you've been growing your membership, then use that in your documentation. It might only be, and I've got to be honest with you guys, this is why I'm not great at maths, but you can use numbers for any single purpose that you like. I once sat in a presentation about branding when a woman said, you know, 46% of people say that they would rather you know, stick with the brand of toilet paper that they currently buy, 46%. And I immediately thought, well, that means that over half of us don't give a shit, right? Literally, we don't care what toilet paper we use. So you can turn numbers to do whatever you want. So you can say in here, If you're a startup and you now have 40 people in your Facebook group and you started at 1, there's a large percentage that you've grown your business, you've grown your impact by. So Kim, you're the same with this, aren't you? With sales, it's all about presenting and the perception and giving people information for them to trust in you. What were some of the things you liked about the document that we sent you?
Oh, I think for me, I just loved it was a summary because you see, I guess I just been doing all this stuff and going on a podcast and getting this and getting that. It just brought it all together. And that's when it was just like, whoa, okay, there's a lot there. And it was I guess it was a little bit of a pathway or I don't know. It just sort of consolidated thinking for me, and it gave it all in one place so that this could be used or bits could be taken out of it. Or have I got all this stuff on my website? Have I updated my website? Have I in fact leveraged every one of those little badges there that you're showing at the moment? Have I leveraged every one of them on my socials? Have I got it on LinkedIn? Have I, done all these sorts of things? I probably need to go back and review it again, actually. When we get an award, it's just like, oh yeah, great, I've won this business book of the year last year. Great, I've done, bang. But I need to keep leveraging that.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it, Kim?
Right now, actually, it's just reminded me I need to use this almost like as a, it could be like a socials plan for the next 6 months.
Absolutely. All the stories you can tell about that time when I won this award and how it made me feel, or the thing I'd overcome to get there. Absolutely. And people love those sorts of stories. Very good point, Kim. And it is interesting in business. We are all over the place. It's like Marty said, when on earth do you get round to doing these things? When do you get the time? So having this document in one place, you can use it. Remember as well, guys, when you're putting together your documentation, talk about your expertise and experience. This just basically came from Kim's LinkedIn profile. If you've kept your LinkedIn profile up to date, you can just go and grab that information and put it in. Here's the experience and expertise. And when you write that in your document, remember to tailor it for what you are going for in your category. If you've put yourself forward as an entrepreneur, but you've been working in corporate, talk in there about how when you were in corporate, you acted entrepreneurially or you thought a certain way, your leadership skills and so on. So really think about that. Books, if you've written a book, be it or a podcast, or you've got a blog, or you've got a program, make sure you think about all those different things. Because as Kim said, you can be all over the place with your business. So make sure you put that together. And the testimonials for the book going in here as well. Lots and lots about the book. I think, did we enter you on a book award as well, Kim?
I think so.
Yeah, we did that for the International Business Awards.
Okay.
So that has the judging's being finalised by the end of July.
Brilliant. So we should hear about that very shortly. So, and then again, speaking gigs, all the different places that Kim was. And if you're going for an entrepreneurial award, you want to put this in, but you also want to talk about, when you were volunteering your time and helping out and being part of the community and speaking at a community event or leading or networking and so on. Being in the media, I mean, look, there's fabulous photographs of Kim on the front covers of magazines. I mean, how credible is that? All the different times that she's been interviewed on podcasts and so on. And as Kim said, quite often we forget that we've done these things. So our tip is always go back through your diary, find those dates that you were speaking, those podcasts you were on, and go and grab those amazing, because most podcasts do this for you. They have images that they do up their promotional graphics. You've got them to use in your profile. And as Kim said, you can repurpose them when you're doing your social media as well. Vlogs and blogs, absolutely. If you're vlogging or you're blogging, you should definitely be talking about it and putting it in here with a nice link so that if the judges do want to go and check it out, they can find out more about you. Here we go. What Kim's doing in the community. Here's the groups that she's part of. I mean, if you're in sales, you have to network. So leverage that in your entry. Make sure that the judges know that you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk. You're actually out there giving of your time, being a leader in the environment and in the community as well. And then some nice links and some nice grabs. So again, really lovely, very clear, lots of content in this particular entry. As you can see, there's loads of content, loads of writing, but because it's got a nice, clean, easy to read background, easy to read font, makes it really easy for the judges, and it's got some great photos in it. So well done, Kim. And again, did it feel like when we sent this through to you, Kim, when you got your support document and your entry?
Oh, look, it's certainly a thrill to see all of that. I was, super impressed, and You know, like you, I love, you know, really spunky looking documents and colors and branding and all that sort of thing. Interestingly, I was entering awards for my business. Lauren presented that document in particular around me and the book. And I'm always sort of, I've got a bit of a split personality as well. I'm sort of out there as myself with my message, but I've also got the business running. So it was really good that I can see how they go together. But certainly when it's a document that's all about me, it was just like, oh, okay. And so that, you know, the imposter syndrome and all those things, you know, they're always there. They're there every day. You've just got to work around them, I think.
The itty-bitty shitty committee, tell it to go and bugger off.
Yeah, and actually one of my best friends last night messaged me and said she was really proud of me. And I sort of went, oh my God, you're proud of me. I'm like, it's only taken me 50-something years to get to this point. But I just wanted to share something which is a little different from what everyone else said, because look, all of the other people that we've talked to today, tick, 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 yeah, I'm ditto for me. But I'm going to be a little bit wacko and say that this sort of started, the awards thing started because someone I'd crossed paths with that didn't go so well had a Silver Stevie Award for women in business. And I'm like, shit, if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm like, I got gold. Yes, I beat her. Not only that, there's a second part to that, in that when I was in corporate, certainly in the last couple of years I was in corporate, I had a major project that I had rolled out Asia Pacific, and it actually ended up becoming a global program. I had the kudos for that taken by my manager, and he got all the accolades for this amazing program. And I'm like, this is for you, buddy.
I love it. I don't think Tim's very competitive at all.
I'm not.
I love it. So there's a number of people who've done that. They've looked at the people who've won awards and they've come to us saying, I don't really care as long as I beat them, or as long as I get what they've got, as long as I'm, you know, because I know I'm better than that. I know my program is better, or my approach is better, or, you know, for whatever reason. So I love that competitiveness fires you up, Kim. That's brilliant. So good.
Thank you. I haven't shared that with many people, by the way.
Well, now we know, so that's fine. And there's a number of people that do that. But isn't it interesting that going through this whole webinar today, Annette, it's been a similar thing, is that, yes, and I love the fact, Kim, that we're talking personal brand and business brand, and they are intertwined, and you can't walk away, and that's why you need both. So I love that you've made that comment. But yes, that imposter syndrome, that ability to now, and I do encourage, if you are looking at this webinar and you have got an entry that you've done, do what Pip does. If you're having one of those days where that itty bitty shitty committee has been very loud, or you've seen your competitors doing amazing things, just have another read through your awards document. Go and polish your awards, that, like Kim's got them on the shelf there. Remind yourself, or Rhonda has them in her lounge room. Go and remind yourself of what you've achieved, because you are doing amazing things. It's just we don't stop to think about it.
Oh, absolutely. I posted something this afternoon. I read an article in Seek this morning that said only 20% of people feel confident talking about their skills, and 37% of those put it down to a lack of confidence because they feel like they're showing off. But if you're in business, there's no room for modesty, because and I said in this post, there is no magical promotion fairy that's going to come along and go, you're a good person, ting, lots of customers for you, you're great, ting. Your people are going to be banging down your door. If you are not telling your story, no one else will. It's really rare. And if you work in a service-based industry, because I was saying to someone yesterday, when you write awards or you write content for people the way that Lauren and I do, is that people are building their brand and their profile. They're not about to go and say, oh my God, thank you so much, Lauren and Annette, for like helping me win this award, because then that detracts away from their profile. So you have to tell your story, because no one else will, and awards are a really great way to do that. And you know, if you struggle with it, do it in third person, write it in somebody else's name, and then change it back before you submit it, of course. Or sit with a friend and ask them to go through the questions with you. You know, sit with your business coach or your mentor, whoever that is, and get them to ask you questions, because it is incredibly hard to write about yourself. I know both Lauren and I still struggle with that. It's not something that goes away. But what does go away if you do this often enough and you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, promoting yourself, is that it's going to change your business. There's no secret to business. It's doing the same things over and over and over again, and do it consistently and persistently. So tell that voice in their head to shut up, and do it anyway.
Brilliant. I love it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Thank you especially for the people who we've shared your award journeys with us today. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey and to be sharing your story and to exposing your story to the world through awards. Marty, Kim, Pip and Rhonda, thank you so much for allowing us to share your documents and your awards. I've put a link in the chat box to our awards page. There's more information on there to help you win awards. We've got a free program that you can jump into and watch recordings of these webinars that we've been doing. There's an online program that you can do, and you can also ask us to do it with you, which is what we've been doing with Kim and Marty and Pip and Rhonda and the others here on the call as well. So thank you so much, Diane. Hopefully we answered your questions. Mish, lovely to see you as well. Yes, we can't wait to see you shine as well, Mish. We need to see you guys up on stage. Jenny, yes, very insightful. You're very, very welcome. And thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you in the next webinar with the Audacious Agency, because you do deserve to be well known, well paid and wanted. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.